Hey guys, and welcome back to Pikmin. In the last day, we had a tutorial and started, and today we're going into the Forest of Hope.
I was going to say that I really like this theme. Well, I guess I'm going to say it anyway. It's very pretty, it's very relaxed, but also kind of melancholy. It's a kind of tone that they never really had again in the Pikmin games. But then you said you heard it so much that if you heard it one more time, you were going to snap.
I'll explain. So as I said, I was trying to do a 6-day run, and it took me forever, and that's actually why this Let's Play was delayed by like a few days. That's why you guys didn't get a video from me on Tuesday. But it's because of how articulate and exact you have to be for the 6-day run. Like, what you're seeing right now is me trying to be as optimal as I can. Not because I'm attempting 6 days. It's because I did it in that style so many times that I'm basically going as fast as I humanly can, even though I'm like, I don't need to do this anymore.
It's the only way you can do it now.
Yeah. I've heard the Forest of Hope theme song so many times. It actually got a little grating. I should also state that don't let my perception of the day 6 run, influence your decision on this game, because Pikmin is a very good game. It's definitely the roughest in the franchise. When this gate goes down, that's when the game starts for real. Forest of Hope, compared to the first areas in 2 and 3, honestly is kind of brutal and feels like a first draft, in comparison at least. You do get a nice sense of alright, so this is what the game's gonna be like, because this is an era of video games where you don't really get your hand held, they just plop you right in there. And that's good. That being said, sometimes, especially since we're talking about Pikmin 1 mechanics, it can actually be very excruciating and unforgiving. So, what I'm doing here is actually one of the first ever tricks I ever learned about. This area right here, you can only actually get here with blue Pikmin, but if you actually throw your red Pikmin into the lake and throw them again and you whistle for them, you can just have them get started on that bridge early.
Yeah, only the blue Pikmin can survive in water, but when you whistle to your Pikmin, they'll try to follow the whistle, and the idea is to lead them towards a bank so they can get out. But that also means you can kind of guide them across water if it's not too far away.
Yeah. And there's actually a bit of a trick to it. It's not like you just start whistling them 100 times. I found that if you have to hold the B button, you hold your whistle twice, they're gonna guarantee to live every single time.
Huh.
It only fails when you only, if you're whistling for them, but you haven't held it long enough, because they start to react a little later. So, part of the 6-day run is that you end up getting pieces and accessing areas that would require later Pikmin, but you just kind of end up ignoring that.
There are a lot of workarounds.
Yeah, there are plenty of them. That being said, even though there are neat little tips and tricks you can do, for a 6-day run, execution is absolutely the #1 thing.
Something that I noticed watching this, you're doing this thing where you're kind of running around in a circle while you're throwing Pikmin. And I'm guessing that's just how you do it. In the GameCube version, you use the C-stick, and that kind of kites the Pikmin around you. And to throw the Pikmin, they have to be immediately behind you. Using the C-stick, you can bunch them up around you, and that allows you to throw them faster, because as long as they're right behind you, and you do it frame perfect, you can basically throw a Pikmin every frame. And without the C-stick, I guess that can be a little bit harder.
Yeah, precisely. The reason why I'm, constantly spinning around like a madman, which is why it looks like he's just having, a bit of a stroke, is because it's actually faster for me to throw Pikmin that way, at least with the Wiimote and Nunchuck. You know the horn, you heard it here in Pikmin 2, where that's the directional horn, and with that, right now, you were able to, guide your Pikmin in a circle. Because it's new controls, the button prompt to do that is on the D-pad, and it's on the D-pad down. And because of that, and because I'm holding down on the D-pad, my thumb is just kind of, on it, and it's also really uncomfortable. Also, that one red Pikmin is flying somehow. I don't know why that happened.
What the fuck?
It just did. This happened 2 times when I was recording. So, I kind of have to hold that and try to mash the button at the same time. Or I could just use the control stick and run around. That's my favorite way to take out a Bulborb.
Just bite its legs.
Yeah, like, don't just push all of them directly forward, because if your Pikmin go between his legs, the Bulborb can automatically, like, just scoop and eat them. It's not forgiving like in 2 and 3, where if a monster is eating your Pikmin and you kill it in time, then you save the Pikmin, and here, if they're already eaten, that's it. Nothing you can do will save them.
Yeah, I'm glad they gave you more leeway in 2.
Yeah. So, we also met our good old friends, the yellow Pikmin. The advantage that the yellow Pikmin have, aside from when you throw them, they get a little higher. The special thing about them, besides that, is that they're the only Pikmin that can hold up bomb rocks. Why? I don't know.
Because you got bomb rocks.
Yeah, cause, you know how in 3, like, your Pikmin, they have hands, and so any Pikmin can do that? For some reason, only the yellow ones are smart enough to do that. I think it's kind of a weird thing, because they already gave them a special attribute, and I guess they thought it wasn't good enough, and so they gave them that. In any case, I think the yellow Pikmin got a better deal in 2 with the electricity resistance.
It is a little weird, because the reds, they're also immune to fire, but also in general, they do more damage, just inherently. It's a little odd that, like, the blues, they can survive in water, and that's the only other benefit that they have. It's like they didn't try to even it out with the blues either. Maybe they thought just being able to swim was important enough.
Yeah, pretty much that's the only edge they have in this game. There is no aquatic combat boost, there is no secret blue Pikmin karate move that I know, it's just, they're blue. And they swim, they can stand in the water. Also, the camera zoomed in earlier, if you saw a corner of the map was actually literally sticking out and we could see through the earth. Depending on when you stand, when you get the yellow Pikmin to follow you, you can actually just see, like, beneath the field.
It's a little funny, either in this part or the next part, you're actually able to see the map. One of the parts you get allows you to get a radar, so you can see where all the parts are, and you can even see if you've left some Pikmin behind somewhere. And the Forest of Hope is a lot smaller than you would think, if you look at it.
Yeah, it's not as big as you'd think it would be. It's actually pretty small, but because you always have to, like, clear bridges or blow up walls or something, clearing obstacles and monsters is usually going to take up most of your time. Which is, like, a big problem. Like, right now, if I was doing the 6-day run, I would have to reset because I already wasted too much time. Because I wasn't fast enough.
And there's the red on the floor.
Yeah, and that's our red Pikmin tripping. Also, we're going to be approaching literally my least favorite bit in the entire game. This part of the field right here. But before that, Olimar's going to talk about the clock and the sun meter. A little minor thing too, especially in day 2, Olimar is going to talk a lot. When he arrives, when he looks at the onion, when he sees the yellow onion, when he talks about the day counter, because it's the first day and you're still kind of getting work into tutorial things. Which is fine. You also see a third meter here. Usually you have the numbers that says this is how many Pikmin are in your squad, and the one on the right is how many you have in total. The number on the right represents grand total, so even Pikmin that are in your onion. So the reason why I hate this thing so much is because of how extremely narrow this little, I call it a bridge, but it's not really a bridge. This little part of the map is extremely narrow because there's a giant cardboard box that you have to throw your Pikmin over the other side to get. Because you're working with old Pikmin AI, sometimes they just straight up won't grab the box, and sometimes they will just fall into the water on their own, for no reason. And it's because of how small and narrow this little path is. I like to call this bad artist bridge. If you can only draw girls like this, I'm afraid that not only do you fail as an artist, but you're bad at level design too. 9 times out of 10, your freaking Pikmin squad is gonna fall directly into the ocean, and if they're too far off, you can only whistle for them for where I was standing. If you try to whistle for them anywhere else, they're not gonna respond. they will just drown. So about the snack grid.
Our introduction to the snack grid. This is when people learn to fear them.
Yeah. These things are a goddamn nightmare, because the best strategy involves them coming out of the ground and having their beaks kind of get stuck, and that happens randomly. I tried like 2 times and I ended up not being able to save some of my Pikmin. If you see the camera freaking out, it's because the camera controls are also where the D-pad is for like Olimar's command whistle. So if you see me doing that, it's not because I'm panicking, it's because I have fat fingers. The reason why the snack grid is annoying as hell, especially in this game, is because if it gets any of your Pikmin and you try to fight it and you don't kill it before it reburies them, that Pikmin is gone and you can't save them. Also, bomb damage does absolutely nothing. If it swallows a Pikmin and it explodes, it does very minimal damage, but when it drags the bomb under the ground and if your squad happens to be near it, it will explode under the ground, and your squad will be affected a lot. I had a recording where I lost 50 Pikmin because of that.
Jesus.
So like I said, Pikmin 1 is extremely unforgiving, because there are 3 snack grids here. Snack grids in Pikmin 1 are a nightmare to deal with. In later games, you at least had like Spicy Spray, or you just had Pink Pikmin or something. Here, you just gotta hope. In fact, when I looked up other strategies, because that was the best one I knew, and the most common way I saw people fight them, I saw it being listed as a risky strat. The best strat is the risky strat.
So, something that I noticed about the little passageway surrounded by the water in the box, and it's something that you had done, and I think I noticed it with speedrunners, is that you kind of want your Pikmin to bunch up on the box and try to push it all together, because you can get more than 10 on there. And when they do that, they're all close enough that once you call them, they're already kind of close enough together that they'll be able to pass through the passage without falling in the water.
Yeah. Honestly, this recording I got extremely lucky in, because I had a bunch of attempts where I actually did try to bunch them up together. And like, there's like a certain way that people like to use, because in GameCube I've seen footage in GameCube that it looks a lot easier to get through that bridge because of the way your whistle's at. But because you have motion controls to deal with and you have to work with the sensor bar, sometimes, I think in one of the later parts actually, you actually see my cursor fly off the screen because of how close I am to the... I don't have much like space to work with in my room, so like the sensor bar is like up close. You actually see at one point where I accidentally throw them into a lake way further than what I was intending. So you kind of have to mess with that, and so when you try to cross like a bridge like that and you're trying to be extremely precise, your hand movements have to be accurate too, so I got extremely lucky there that none of them fell in the water. They did when I was like throwing them at the box, but I mean like when the box was officially pushed.
Which is the dangerous part.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
Another thing you can do with the box is you can just throw them onto the box, go into the box, whistle, and then kite them over to the other side.
Mm-hmm. I should also mention that regardless of which strategy you use, there's a high chance that they're going to fall into the water anyway. Because it will happen. It's just going to happen.
Yeah.
I've tried a lot of different methods to try to get it perfect. In that attempt you saw, I just went, oh, fuck it.
An important note about these walls, these solid ones like the one in this shot, have to be destroyed by bomb rocks. The brambles can be destroyed by Pikmin, but it takes a long time. The bomb rocks, it's almost instantaneous if you have enough.
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna need, I want to say 4? I want to say 4 for the black walls, the brambles, and it's 2 for the white walls. One thing I wanted to mention with the Giga counter, if you notice, I didn't kill those 2 bulborbs all the way over there where the box was, but I did kill the little one. Kill the little one, you can ignore the big ones, because the Pikmin will be smart enough to actually navigate around the sleeping bulborbs. But the reason why you want to kill the little one is because he can actually disrupt the Pikmin dragging the items back. He can eat them. And another thing that I learned and I didn't know was that the little bulborbs can actually wake up the big ones. They can actually just let out a little cry and they'll both wake up.
Yeah.
I had that happen to me a few times. I never knew that.
Yeah, especially if you attack the little ones, but you don't kill them fast enough.
Yeah.
So I do like this strategy. He's distracted by that one Pikmin, so he's gonna ignore the rest of them.
Yeah, this is an old school strat. Like, this is just like a common sense kind of thing. Enemies tend to be aggro. I even use this kind of strat in like the other games. Enemies will tend to focus on like whatever they see. So if they see you or Pikmin, they will just attack on sight. Also, by the way, that's why we don't need blue Pikmin, because you can just throw 2 bomb Pikmin up there and just knock the wall off.
Yeah, in this area, there aren't any parts in water.
Yeah, thankfully. If they were in water, then this 6-day stuff wouldn't be possible. Here, I'm just trying to clear up as many walls as I can. I already got the important one. But another one I want to get is for that stone wall over there. You saw me blow up this stone wall right here near the base. And it only took 3 because they're gray. The black stone walls are another beast in themselves, and they're kind of annoying because they require 9 bombs.
And there's plenty of bomb rocks in the area, they're just very spread out.
Yeah. You've seen that I only have 15 yellow Pikmin. 15 is pretty much all you need for yellows. I am dead serious. You don't need to grow that many, but I always recommend, especially for first-time players, that if you have time to get some reserves, absolutely grow and get some reserves, because Pikmin 1 of the 3 is definitely the most unforgiving.
Also, notice that one yellow bomb rock Pikmin, you completely forget about him.
Yeah. I didn't catch him.
And it was funny because he got stuck behind a wall. And when you broke up the squad, he got out from behind the wall and walked up like, okay, I'm here, and you still forget about him.
I'll take the blame for that one. Mainly because usually when it becomes end of day and I haven't like cleared everything I wanted to do, I end up having like a mini panic in my head where I'm like, okay, what can I do? Right, this. Because I was working on this. This is the only other reason why you need blue Pikmin, but again, you don't need them. And honestly, the tricks to do to like negate the blue Pikmin are not difficult at all. Like, it might take a little bit of practice, like maybe whistling in the water, but the bomb thing, as long as they don't fall in the little lake, you should be okay. Because if they fall in the water, the bomb disappears. But, you know, you can always whistle them back to safety.
The funny thing about the blues, there's 2 areas I can think of where you can bypass the things you're intended to use them for. This one and the final area.
Yeah. Poor things. The thing is, the blue Pikmin could easily be extremely useful, and they could absolutely think of other things that don't require, hey, just the special thing is the water and nothing else. Unfortunately, I did not make this in time, but I dragged it close enough to the base, and I cleared up pretty much everything else that I intended, so I still consider this day to be a pretty big success.
You got like halfway.
Yeah, especially the Geiger counter, because the Snaggart fight is a pain in the ass, because there's 3 of them. And if you don't have the foresight to know that the ship part is in the 3rd Snaggart, all the way in the back, and you actually went and fought all 3 of them, well, I commend you. But I have never fought all 3 of them ever in my life.
You see, guys, that's why you don't trip.
Interesting thing is that Olimar will comment on, I'm pretty sure they're set depending on, like, the actions you've taken, the end of day logs. Like, because I know, like, depending on what you do, Olimar will talk about, like, his wife, his family. I know you can get a data log where he talks about how he's a failure of a leader because his entire Pikmin squad got extinct. But you only get that if you if your entire squad died in that one fight. Or he'll have something to say if he passes out, if his health drains to 0. I like to think that the Pikmin wiki has all of the possible data entry logs you can possibly get, for one. But I do think it's really interesting that they went the extra mile to do that, because they absolutely didn't have to.
Well, it's a new IP at the time.
Yeah, it was a new IP at the time. I just think it's cool that they had a little foresight for that. Like, oh, depending on how you did, he has different things to commentate on. That being said, we are going to be returning to the Forest of Hope to basically clear it out, because I have everything I need to finish that area.
And you need one more to leave the area.
Yeah, the cool thing is it doesn't actually matter which part you pick up. I'll actually be demonstrating that next, but it's just funny that, like, we mentioned that, like, hey, there are certain treasures that are extremely important, and he can't leave, like, he can leave 5 of them, and there are some of them that he needs, but some of them don't really have many practical uses. Olimar even has, like, some comments about some of them. Even the Sagittarius was just, that's just a gift from his son. Like, it doesn't actually make his ship run better, but Olimar won't leave without it.
That's one of the necessary parts?
I want to say yes. At the end of the game, you'll see like a map screen, and the ones that are highlighted in blue are not important, and the ones that are yellow are absolutely necessary. I like to think that the Sagittarius is actually crucial for him. If it is, then I like to think that it's a character reason, and I think that's cute. But also, it's funny because while it does have a spot on the ship physically, it doesn't matter which part you actually get. When Olimar says, I need 5, any 5 will do, because the ship will automatically fix itself and be like, yep, ready for travel. So I just think it's funny that, like, if he crashes and he gets some other parts and he's just like, oh, I need one more, and he installs like a cup holder or something, the ship is like, ready for flight, ready for space travel, let's go.